This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to you with actually a book review about the economy and the title itself. Now, I've done a video in the past about Robert Kiyosaki and probably read one of his articles from his Rich Dad Poor Dad site. And I just really started reading his new book, Why the Rich Are Getting Richer. And I encourage you to take a look at it just because of the mindset that he's producing in there and he's talking about. As he stated in the book, what the school didn't teach you about money. And if you read his first book, and I'm a big fan, I buy all his books. I bought this one a little bit late because, from the reviews that I've had about it, it stated that it's kind of the same old stuff. But honestly, it's not. It does provide, if you read Rich Dad Poor Dad, prophecy and different aspects like that, he still brings up on that particular theme. But the mindset that we need to understand is the times that we're actually in. And the title alone, of course, Why the Rich Get Richer, what is financial education really? Of course, it's going to stand out and be something of, provocative and get you to want to purchase it. But again, I've been a big fan of it for a while. Why am I stressing this? Because it's based on the information age ideologies. The way he talks about debt and he utilizes real estate as a means of creating wealth is extremely valuable. Debt has always gotten its negative aspect because we've been only taught how to learn how to consume from it. But if we learn how to actually harness its power in terms of purchasing real estate, and particularly rental properties, that is definitely something that's why it's so valuable. In addition to that, he also talks about energy. Now, you've seen, I've done a number of videos before in the past about energy and its importance. And he explains how we go into wars because of the aspect of owning oil, and oil is just so vital for our future, and what everything that we do is dependent on it. He talks about that in his book as well. And if you look at the back aspect, why savers are losers. Once upon a time, savers were winners. Again, we've been punished to save because the interest rates are so low, and that's why another aspect which he talks about a great deal about here in that book as well. And just took a look at what has happened to the value of savers' savings. In 1970, $1 million of savings at 15% interest will equal $150,000 a year. In 2017, $1 million in savings times 1.5% interest, making the assumption that you're going to receive 1.5% interest, will only pay you $15,000 a year. That's the reason why the fairy tale is actually over. Now, where we reach into a point of hyperinflation with the advent of cryptocurrencies, which I've done videos about before, that's definitely a possibility, and that money may be reaching that point. But until that time, we got to be able to prepare and get into the mindset of understanding who our captors are and how the rich think. The goal is not just everybody's goal is wants to be successful, and essentially, everyone will lie to themselves if they don't want to become rich. But understanding how they think and understanding how taxes are such a big part that we play in terms of our daily life, because the more income that you receive from working from a job, and they still push this to this day, go to school, get a higher education, which then will lead you into a job that will pay you X amount of dollars. Hopefully everyone wants to reach that six-figure aspect. What they don't talk about enough is how much are you paying in taxes for doing that. And with videos that I've done in the past, with 99% of the population, I should say 90 million Americans not in the labor workforce and 10,000 retiring every day, someone has to subsidize these individuals. And those individuals, anyone working a job, paying into taxes, paying into 401k plans, it's actually giving aspects for the rich to utilize that capital, whether it be in the stock market or banks. They need somewhere to put that capital, so usually give it to the rich, who then in turn rest in real estate and different aspects of other productions of business. We can even see Amazon's model where they take on that the stock prices continues to increase, and then they go buy physical assets such as Whole Foods in that process. So we live in those different times, and we see our parents still providing us those old adages, work hard, save money, and it's really not applicable. That's why I really like this book. I'm even going back to the old school paperback form. You can get it in PDF and get on your phone in that aspect. But sometimes, once in a while, I like to get that feel of going through the papers and reading that book, especially when I'm trying to talk to my kids and I'm trying to read something to them points, I do a Bible book study, and I do a book study each and every couple of days about books that I'm reading that's important for their lives. So if you haven't picked up the Why the Rich Are Getting Richer, I encourage you to take a look at it. I'm going to leave a link in here where you can actually purchase it. Of course, it's from Amazon, so you can get it from there in that point, but I'm going to leave my link in there. And I would encourage you to take a look at it. Big fan. I read it, but about 90% of the book so far, so I kind of cover some of those different aspects that he's talking about. I encourage you to read it over. Then he also goes in the book, as well as one part, but I want to mention, he gives you a Rich Dad TV excerpt too, so you get more bang for your buck just getting the book and then looking at the Rich Dad TV, the video series that goes along with the book as well, because we live in the video series time. So let me make this long-winded. Encourage you to take a look at the book. Get in the mindset of the rich, because we need to think differently to especially survive in this information age. And we have so many things changing and so many different things moving on. So until my next video, if you found any value to this, please subscribe, leave some comments. Until my next video, as I always say, I'm out.